A very good evening and welcome to Primetime News on MTV Sports. I'm Arudhati Mudanayaka.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Nadim Majid. As always, let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines tonight. The depression in the Bay of Bengal develops into a mini cyclone and heads towards the north of Sri Lanka. Heavy rains in several areas as a result of the atmospheric depression. Price of a loaf of bread increased by 2 rupees. Karujaya Surya appeals to government MPs not to allow a breakdown in democracy. And in international news, Australian Prime Minister Julia Gillard implicated in an embezzlement scam. The depression in the Bay of Bengal developed into a mini cyclone earlier this evening. We now join Shahin Jurangpati at the News First Weather Centre for the very latest. Shahin, it's over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Nadim. Well, over the past few days, we experienced the change of weather patterns around the world. But for now, let's focus on Sri Lanka. Now, the Met Department says that the mini cyclone would move across the northern region of Sri Lanka tonight. Now, this, which was located about 600 kilometers yesterday, has moved in approximately 100 kilometers into Sri Lanka. Now, this cyclone is expected to move into Mullaitivu and move around all the way up to the northern region, starting from Mullaitivu all the way up to Mena. Now, yesterday, early today, the Met Department said that the winds were the cyclone was up to 200 kilometers. But as of now, like I said before, it has moved in at least 100 kilometers. Now, the seas will be roughed up from all the way up to here, moving all the way up to the Mena region. Now, yesterday, the Met Department issued a warning for the fishermen to refrain from naval and fishing activities from Batiklo all the way up to Mena as well. Now, let's take a look at the possible effects of this cyclone on Sri Lanka.
When looking at its path, what I saw was that compared to this morning, the storm had moved closer to Mullaitivu. It could make landfall between Trincomalee and Kankasanture. Sometimes the cyclone could cease moving. Considering its path at present, it would probably move northwest or north. When considering all factors, it should make landfall later tonight.
නමුත් සමස්තයක් වශයෙන් ගත්තම අපි මේ ගමන් මාර්ගයේ සැලකිල්ලට ගත්තොත් අද රාත්‍රී කාලෙදී මේක දිවෙනට ඇතුල් වෙනවා.
Well, the Met Department adds that this mini cyclone would pack up winds of up to 80 kilometers per hour. Now, the Met Department warns that the seas off the coast of Trincomalee, Kankasanture and Mullaitivu would be extremely rough, which is why the Met Department issued a warning for the fishermen to refrain from naval and fishing activities right about this area, because the seas are quite rough, and the Met Department adds that strong winds will be experienced alongside heavy rain. So now, which is as a result of this, the seas will be rough at all times, which is why the fishermen have been advised to refrain from fishing activities. Now, let's take a look at the rainfall figures reported from several areas across the island as a result of the atmospheric depression.
The heaviest rainfall in the 24 hours ending at 6 a.m. today was reported from Kantale, which received 187.02 millimeters. The Colombo District too received heavy showers throughout the day today and yesterday.
Well, the heavy rains also triggered floods in several areas from around the island.
Kantale was the worst affected. The Mullaitivu District Secretary said that the heavy rains had displaced around 4,000 families. Our correspondent said that the sluice gates of several reservoirs in the Mullaitivu and Vaunia districts had been opened as a result of the heavy showers. Many low-lying areas in the Trincomalee district too were inundated. This is the situation in Min area today. Batiklo experienced heavy rain since this morning and many areas were underwater. Ratgama, Akmimana, Ambalamwatta, Dangedera and Talagaha were inundated in the Galle district. Meanwhile, Eluwankulama along the Old Manor Road in Putlam was inundated by this afternoon. Moreover, a high-voltage power line had fallen onto the coastal railway line along with a coconut tree, disrupting train movements.
Well, is there a threat of landslide owing to the prevalent weather conditions? Now, we made an inquiry from the National Bureau of Research Organization in this regard, and this is what they had to say.
We
informed the public that there is a threat of landslides in the next 24 hours. What we took into consideration when making this decision is the amount of rain received during the past few days and the rains being experienced owing to the low pressure system affecting the entire country. Due to this, those residing near hills and earth embankments should pay extra attention to the possibility of earth slips and landslides.
Meanwhile, an earth embankment in close proximity to the Dambar grounds in Hatton collapsed, damaging several houses.
Now, owing to the depression in the Bay of Bengal, fishing and maritime activities were severely disrupted.
Fishermen in the Jaffna district did not venture out to sea today. Our correspondents reported that fishermen from Kinya, Muttur, Kuchaveli, Trincomalee New Town and Jamali also did not set off to sea today. Meanwhile, 5 fishermen who were aboard the multi-day fishing vessel that was stranded off the coast of Pottale in Hambantota were rescued today. They had set off to sea from Dondra Head 2 months ago.
Well, are the authorities in the north adequately prepared for the oncoming storm? Now, we have online the district secretary of the Mullaitivu district, Nagalingam Vedanayagam. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Sir, could you tell us the current situation in the Mullaitivu district, sir?
Yes. Mullaitivu district experienced heavy raining since yesterday evening and also experienced heavy winds from early morning today, and now also it's raining is going on and the wind also some south wind more than the early morning hours, and now the people of the most of the parts have been affected by the flood in some areas, and still the situation is we are getting worse situation because the warning also given to the people to evacuate the area from the coastal area. That's the situation now.
So now previously you said, sir, that a couple of families have been affected by these floods. So now what are the authorities doing to provide relief for these people?
Yes, nearly 4,000 families have been affected by the flood. Most of them are recently resettled people in the Puducherry and other areas. But around 200 families in the schools and common places, we have already made arrangements to supply cook meals for these families.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Well, now we have Minister of Disaster Management, Minister Mahinda Amaravira, and he had this to say.
The Disaster Management Center as well as all other institutions attached to our ministry are ready to face any situation. Steps have been taken to carry out rescue and relief operations. The necessary funds have also been allocated. We have already informed the Army and other officials at district level to cooperate. In case of a disaster situation, funds have been allocated to construct IDP camps and provide the necessary facilities. The President has provided funds for this purpose.
Well, that was Minister of Disaster Management, Minister Mahinda Amaravira. Well, that's it from the Weather Center here. I'm Shan Jurangpathy for News First. Back to you, Nadim Majid.
Well, thank you very much, Shahin, for that very comprehensive update. Of course, News First will continue to keep you updated on the progress of this cyclone and on the repercussions. Dry weather since April 2012. 20,000 hectares of paddy damaged due to lack of water in the Yalla season. Ministry of Agriculture. Silt deposits in reservoirs are an obstacle to water retention. Deputy Minister of Irrigation and Water Resource Management. from reservoirs commences in Balaluwaba. Farmers allege that the program was not conducted properly. Against this backdrop, will the retention of rainwater being received now be short-lived? Well, moving on to another one of our headline-making stories. With the increase in the price of wheat flour, bakery owners have decided to increase the price of a 450-gram loaf of bread by 2 rupees effective midnight. Now, accordingly, the minimum price of a loaf of bread will now be 60 rupees. In accordance with the promise made during the presidential campaign in 1994, consumers were able to purchase a loaf of bread at 3 rupees and 50 cents at the time. However, since then, the price of a loaf of bread has increased by 1,614%. The price of bread increased by 5 rupees in February, 3 rupees in April, and by 2 rupees today this year. Accordingly, the price of a loaf of bread has been increased by 10 rupees from 50 rupees at the beginning of the year. We held an executive committee meeting of the association today. The executive committee has decided to increase the price of a loaf of bread by 2 rupees from midnight today. We have not decided to increase the prices of other bakery products. Well, views were expressed at separate JVP and UNP media briefings convened today on the increasing prices of goods. The prices of goods are increasing because the budget is around the corner. On the 1st of October, drinking water was attacked. The price of chicken was increased thereafter. Then the price of cement was increased. From today, the price of bread will increase by 2 rupees. We can now see how this government's miracle is affecting the hopes and aspirations of the people. Not only that, the prices of goods are increasing at a time when the blueprints have been drawn up to increase fuel prices in order to cover up the losses being incurred by the CPC. It is not only the loaf of bread but the price of every single item that is made with wheat flour that will increase. The people who are expecting relief through the budget are receiving nothing. The expenses of the government are immense. For next year, a sum of 7.4 billion has been allocated just for presidential expenses. That is 20 million rupees a day for the president. So the president apparently needs 20 million a day for expenses. Where do they find this money? By increasing the taxes on flour and increasing the prices of bread and flour for the people.
But up next is a look at the newspaper cartoon of the day.